These are the plaintiffs, Andrea and David. Andrea says she gave the defendant a $2,000 deposit for their son's bar mitzvah, which was canceled due to no fault of their own, and the guy won't return their money. They're not about to walk away from $2,000 and are suing for just that today. This is the defendant, Malcolm Sillers. He says the plaintiffs are trying to back out of having their son's bar mitzvah party and are trying to use the pandemic as an excuse. He was able to accommodate the 120 guests they planned to have. He has no duty to return the plaintiff's deposit and chose not to. He's accused of not budging.
All parties, please raise your right hands. Do you, in each unit case now pending before this court, the People's Court, case number 41, year 2021, Andrea and David versus Sellers, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
I do.
People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian is now presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay. Ms. Andrea and Mr. David, you are suing the venue, nobody wants their names, the venue that Mr. Sillers is the general manager of, correct? For $2,000 of a deposit that you gave them that you say they must return because COVID. Let's talk about it. Who wants to talk to me first, Andrea or David?
Andrea's the speaker.
Okay, Andrea's the speaker. Oh, that's good to know yourself. Go ahead.
Well, basically, in October 2019, we went and we saw the venue for having our son's bar mitzvah there. And we loved the place, and my son loved the place. And so we decided to book the date.
Okay, and what kind of place is it?
It's like a nightclub, basically. It
Okay.
used to be a nightclub.
Okay.
And that's sort of the format. Our son is a break dancer, and he's really into dancing. So he was super excited.
Yeah. All right. So then what happens?
So that was October 2019. Of course, then the pandemic and COVID became part of our vocabulary in 2020. And we, everyone was saying, oh, it's going to be fine by May. And we were relieved because our date was in February 2021. So we held off for a little bit and things got a little bit better over the summer, and then they got a lot worse. And in October, it became pretty apparent that we couldn't have the party that we wanted. And it was February, and we were not even going into people's houses. It was, scary time, and people weren't vaccinated or anything yet. So we decided in October of 2020 that we were going to cancel the event. And so I emailed Malcolm and informed him of that.
And what did he say?
And so I asked about the deposit, and he called me back, left a voicemail confirming that we had canceled and saying that the deposit was not refundable under any circumstances.
Okay. And what did you say?
I said, well, I don't think that, when you put that policy in place that you considered these kind of extraordinary circumstances. And so that I think that we should get the deposit back. He offered he said that we could reschedule the bar mitzvah, but our son had been studying and it was important to him to have it on the date that he was supposed to, and and we didn't even know when we could even reschedule for, with everything so uncertain and up in the air. So we did not want to do that.
Mr. Sillers, tell me what exactly, in February of 2021, what exactly was the status of things in terms of parties?
Well, based on, I guess, the exhibit I sent you, which is on number 6, the state of New Jersey, as of October, was 25% of our occupancy, maximum 150 people for religious celebrations. And so therefore we were able to do their party, but like a lot of clients, people are uncomfortable. So we were offering to move a party, and then we moved hundreds of parties for clients.
Did you have any 150-person parties in February?
We did not, no. We moved most of our parties.
Did you have any in March?
No, we did not.
Have you had any since the pandemic began?
We've had probably about 5 parties total. Smaller parties, 80 people, 100 people.
And when you say that at 25% capacity you could accommodate them, how can you accommodate them? They would have to be 6 feet apart, the tables would have to be separated. How would it work out?
Our venue holds 1,300 people.
On different levels or all in the same place?
We have 2 different floors. I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, that's all right.
2 different floors, but it's open to below. But the idea is, the party itself doesn't have to be the same. A lot of people are now doing parties, not the same day as the actual service. They're celebrating at a different time. I've moved people 3-4 times already. It's, during these crazy times. And even though our deposit says non-transferable, of course we're transferring parties. We would even do a different type of party. We would do a different, birthday party. I've moved Sweet 16s to Spectacular 17s.
I love that.
And I've done.
I just hold on. I want to hold on to that a second because I'm a big believer in trying to take back everything that you can that COVID has taken. Sweet 16 to Spectacular 17. I am in the midst of planning a faux prom for one of my 2 2020 graduates.
I have a great location for you.
Yeah, no, it's Miami. I have a better location. It's in Miami at their high school. But, it's, and then you feel like a jerk complaining because there's so many people with health issues and who have lost loved ones. But, the pain is real of a lost year, a bar mitzvah. I had a high school graduation, a college graduation. And then on top of the fact that you get robbed of all these memories, you have to feel like a jerk for saying it out loud because there's people with health issues. And so I have to say that I do disagree with the concept that under no circumstances would a deposit ever be refundable. There are circumstances where it would be, such as circumstances where you can't have the party. Now, what he's saying is actually, what Mr. Sillars is saying is actually a new one on us, because as time progresses that we're doing these trials, the parties that people are suing about are later and later in time. That when I would have a lawsuit and the party was, May of 2020, it was pretty clear that the venue couldn't do anything. And then, but now we're talking about as time has worn on, and these trials that I'm doing are now parties from February 2021 now. And he's saying, well, we could have the party. It's not the party you envisioned, but the party can be had. So what say you in response to that? Either Andrea or David, whoever wants to respond, or if both of you want to respond?
No, I'll respond.
Okay. David, are you allowed to talk ever, or you basically?
I will say, I just got my vaccine, my second shot a few weeks ago. I just saw my father for the first time in a year. There's a lot of that stuff that we can do now, but we couldn't do it in February.
So, right.
Let me just say, I have a mother who's Cuban, who's 95. If I didn't see her in a year, I think she would just start bombing random sites. I ended up, and everybody does what they're comfortable with. I was scared to death, but I would see my mother outside in Florida, 10 feet away. And the minute I walked into the house with the mask, all she would say is, "What's that thing on your face?" And then I would say, "It's a mask." And she would say, "Why are you wearing a mask in my house?" And I would say, "'Cause pandemic." And then she would say, Where is there a pandemic? I said, the whole world, Mom. That's why it's called a pandemic. And then she would say, but there's no pandemic in this house. I said, no, Mom, but the elderly are very fragile, and you're the. She goes, who's elderly here? That's how
boy,
it would
right
end with
down
the who's on first, what's on second. That happened because she's 95. So I hope she's not watching right now. But anyway, so. I know.
Wow.
I know. It stinks. It's not what we had in mind.
Right.
But I have a contracts case in front of me. So even though some people won't fly in for the party, and the older people may not want to, or whoever may not want to get the vaccine, I hear everything that you're saying.
Right.
But so what would the party have looked like, Mr. Sillars? Exactly what would it have looked like?
Well, it could look like whatever they would be comfortable with.
Well, no, I'm asking what was permissible. If you were at 25, if at the time New Jersey would allow you to be at 25%, then that would mean what? Let's say they were all game and they wanted to do the party. No. Tell me how it would have looked.
What we would do is we'd have to put seating. We'd have to change our seating because we're more lounge. We were a nightclub. Now we are a banquet venue. We're strictly banquets, but we were a nightclub, so it's very loungy. So we would have to put more formal seating in, and tables of 8 and 10s around. And
is that a pivot that you had to do because of COVID?
Yes.
Okay.
Because most people that come to our venue want the lounge furniture, want it more loungy, more dancing. We would put tables on the dance floor. We would spread people out. We could put the adults upstairs, the children downstairs. You could still see the children. You could overlook. It's open to below. It's a big, wide open venue. So it's different scenarios for what the client wants at that point.
What the client wants is a dance party in a lounge. That's really what the client wants, right? That's what the
world wants, yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they bargained for. And then all of a sudden it's got to be separate tables and the adults in one place and the...
I'm doing parties outside. You're under a tent for other clients.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do it inside. I've moved parties till 2023 to another
That's
time.
A little hard. Now, I'm a big fan of that, but that's a little bit, that could be a little harder. You don't really want to have your bar mitzvah when you're 14 or, right? I don't know.
Well, no, a different type party, like a birthday party, a kid's party. We try to accommodate different scenarios for different clients. But the reason why it's non-refundable is because the day when they booked on, I guess, what is it, October of 19, I think, right? We blocked out that date. So anyone else who inquired about that date was taken. So we had no options business-wise.
Well, you wouldn't have had that if someone else had, right. But I mean, if someone else had booked that date, they also would be in this position and trying to figure things out. I mean, look, the question is whether or not you guys would be able to provide a party that looks like what they booked. And it's so tough in this case. It's really tough. It's the closest one. On a lot of these, it's like so clear that you can't. And, the deposits have been going back unless there was something that covered it in a particular contract, which is hard to do. People don't anticipate pandemics that often. But, this is kind of unique in the sense that some stuff was allowed by February. Now, it's not exactly what they had hired you to do. They didn't want tables and people unable to dance and because you would it would be at 25% capacity and what? I guess you would dance really far from each other. Let me hear from you, Andrea. You're busting at the seams. Go ahead.
Well, Governor Murphy made it clear that that dance floors were not open.
Wait.
Even
I don't care who the governor is. He's not going to tell me that I can't dance. Okay, I'm going to tie him down and dance in front of him for an hour if he tries that. You can still dance. He just doesn't want like bars and dance floors. There's no inviting of that atmosphere. I get that. I know what you're saying. But when you say he made it clear, how did he make it clear that we're not allowed to dance?
Well, there's some explanations of his executive orders on the New Jersey State website, and I sent you as an exhibit where he is quoted saying that dancing is not permitted. I mean, obviously.
Wait. No, I need to see that. Hold on.
That's page 17.
I have the oh, here we go. You have them numbered your way. I got it. Do you see what I'm looking at?
Yeah, go up 2 pages.
I can't because this is where it begins, and then you've got the number 19.
It's the exhibit prior to that. It starts on page 16. Right, correct.
This wouldn't qualify as, hold on one second, that are not religious services or celebrations. Political,
right, so,
wait, just a moment. Can you give me a second to read it? Whereas the most recent of which, issued on September, limited the number of individuals at indoor gatherings that are not religious services, celebrations, political activities, wedding ceremonies, funerals, or memorial service to. Yeah. When was the last change?
I think he just changed to April.
There was the most recent executive order extending the state of emergency was April 17th, I think.
Right. I don't want that. I want whatever was before your party. What day was your party?
Oh, right before the party was February 6th.
Well, just like minutes before your party, 3 days before, they increased it to 35%.
Your Honor.
What had they done in January? What had they done in January? Had they changed anything?
I don't
just a moment.
Exactly.
I'm just kind of speaking out loud. Give me a moment. I'm speaking to my staff now. Gabe, where is the January one? You're whispering in Mayor January, but I don't see it in judges' folders. Where am I looking? What? Okay. I am just looking at it? Is it the second item in judges' favorite? What page? Just tell me when to stop. My finger's just going to move and you're going to, okay, got it. I still don't see anything about dancing. Where you guys see that? Oh, yep, got it. Okay, so in January, your governor outlawed dance floors. I thought this was America. Wait, Wait, let me say that right. I thought this was marathon. All right.
It's Footloose all over again.
Yeah, what the heck is going on? 25% capacity with a maximum of 150 people, no dance floors. Can you really say, Mr. Sillars, if what yours is the best of these cases I've seen, Mr. Sillars, let me just tell you. You've given me a run for my money.
Thank you.
I am interested in hearing you address this. Can you really say that you could comply with your end of the bargain if what you had always been is a dance, venue, loungy, and all of a sudden the governor says, no dance floors for anybody. If there's no dance floors, it means they can't dance, right? You can't be providing something that looks like a dance floor when the governor says no dance floors. So do you really think that the kid wants a wedding when it was supposed to be a bar mitzvah? Wedding, I wouldn't even call it a wedding if there's no dancing, but I don't know.
Your Honor, I've done formal seatings for different types of parties.
Yeah, but he's 13.
We've done seating.
Do you have children?
My children have 4 legs. I have dogs.
Have you ever seen a kid who could break dance at his bar mitzvah? Because I went to a bar mitzvah once where the young man, known as Jake Scott, my executive producer's son, was breakdancing all over the floor. And I'm trying to imagine if someone told my executive producer's son, no, we're just going to have a nice sit down and the tables are going to be 6 feet apart and there's no dancing allowed because the governor says so. Wow. Can't do it, Mr. Sillars. Can't do it. It's not the party they bargained with you for, and I'm ordering you to return the $2,000 to Ms. Andrea and Mr. David. Good luck, folks.
Thank you very much, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Well, the plaintiffs are going to get their money back. Mr. Sillars, how do you feel about that?
Well, I'm a little disappointed in the decision based on 2 facts that, one, the contract says that the deposit is non-refundable, and 2, that based on the state of New Jersey, I was allowed to do their party. I could have hosted their party. And maybe not the party that they were looking for, but there are all different types of parties. I can, for just to cut it off and saying, because I couldn't give them the party they wanted, I thought it was just an unfair decision. I may have to take this to the Supreme Court.
Well, I don't think that's possible. Not now. Anyway, the judge ruled and you lost, so I'm sorry about that. On the other hand, Andrea and David are probably happy about the decision. How about it, guys?
Yeah, I think it's the right decision. I think it was just. We bargained for a dance party. Our son's big into breakdancing. He would have been all over the floor. And it just wasn't possible. And he couldn't foresee having his bar mitzvah at who knows when, age 15 or so, given the pandemic.
So will he have a dance party ever, or a bar mitzvah party ever, or what?
We ended up having a socially distanced, snowball fight in the yard on the date of his bar mitzvah after the service. It was special, but it definitely was not what he had pictured.
All right.
And
well, congratulations.
Had 4 people.
Yeah, really? Well, look, you did the right thing. You came to court, and look what happened. You're going to get your money back. You won. Good for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, Harvey. See, if you stick to your guns, go to court, you might win, right?
So, Rob, what do you need to count? All right. Okay. All right, so this is a mic check, so just for testing, 1, 2, 3, testing.
Talk.
Hello, I'm talking like I'm talking. I'm talking, we're looking, we're walking, we're looking, we're walking, we're looking. We're not touching.
Nope. No touching.
No touching. How's that sound? I'll just keep talking because apparently that's what.
Keep talking.
Yeah. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P.
What's that? You want me to talk too?
U, R,
Yeah,
S, T,
yeah.
U, V.
Doing a bang-up job, Marilyn.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
At the end, you're supposed to go, tell me
18.
what you think of me.
Tell me what you think of me. Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
No,
Okay.
I don't know. She's only got the one.
So, can you hear me?
No,
Can you hear me? You need to put a picture in that frame up there.
All
That's it.
right, that
Okay.
is good. Standing by, John, you're asking?
Yes.
John is asking? Anytime.
College stories. Are you still friends with your college roommates?
Am I still friends with my college roommates? Yeah, I'm
Yes.
good friends with them. My brother and my parents. I didn't, I
You
didn't
were
have
at home.
college roommates.
You lived at home when you were
I
in
lived at
college,
home. I
right?
lived at home. I'm very close to my law school
You were
friends.
chaperoned until your graduation,
Yeah,
right?
everybody knows. But I am very, very close to my law school friends still.
we had dinner with a
we
couple
just
of
had
them last
dinner
night.
with some last night, and
right.
we get together, very often, probably at least once a year, with all of my law school friends, which is a nice group. It's about a group of 6 people, women and men, who
Right.
have
You
just
made
stayed
those.
tight.
You made the more intense connections in law school than
I
you
did.
in undergrad.
I did, because that was my going away to college.
Right.
Really. How about you?
Well, I was not busy being summa cum laude in undergraduate like you, so I did.
Or living at home.
I did some different kinds of things. I'm still friends with all my college
Can't
roommates.
talk about the stuff you did in college.
I'm still friends with all my college roommates.
Yeah.
And guys, if you're watching, remember those non-disclosure agreements, okay? They're enforceable. But I do remember one incident that was kind of interesting. This is 40 years ago or so. One afternoon, my friend Big Ray, one of my roommates, Big Ray, decides he wants to hitchhike to Cleveland. So I said, well, we were in Boston. We were at Boston College. So I said, yeah, I'll go with you, Big Ray. I'll go to Cleveland, right? Never been there. So we hitchhiked west on the Massachusetts Turnpike, and we both fell asleep in the back of a panel van.
Where was your
And
mother?
Wait a minute, let me finish. We wake up and it's morning and we're in White Plains, New York, right? And this guy's pulling over to let us out and he says, is this as far as I'm going? I'm going, where are we? He goes, you're in White Plains. So we got out and we're at a parking lot of a Holiday
Let me get this straight. You were heading from Boston to Cleveland?
Yeah, and we went south somehow. So
and
we
you
wake
ended up in White Plains?
Yes, it's like a Saturday morning. We're in White Plains, and Big Ray looks at me. He goes, hey, do you have that $10 bill I gave you? I reach in my pocket, and I go, I lost it, Big Ray. So now we're broke, and we're in White Plains. On a Saturday
Broken
morning.
White Plains.
So I go into the hotel where there's a barbershop quartet convention going on, right?
You
And the
can't make this
lobby is
stuff up.
just packed with guys with the red and white striped vests and the straw hats and spats on their feet. And they're all singing in harmony in little groups. And I had to bum a dime off of one of them to make a phone call, right? So one of them gave me a dime. That's what it cost to make a phone call back in the bad old days, right?
Right.
Went to a public phone.
Back in the bad old days when there were public
Made some
phones.
phone calls. We found a friend who was in Ridgewood, New Jersey, down there for the weekend, and he picked us up. We slept on his sofa for a few days, and then he drove us back to school. So,
Seriously.
that's
like,
my trip to Cleveland.
And there's nothing more fun than sitting with your college roommates and friends and hearing the ridiculous stuff you did. I would never have given you a second look if I had met you back then.
Right.
Because you were kind of...
You know what? They say you can't step in the same river twice. Well, when you met me, I was a different river, Marilyn. Thank God for that.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. Thank God that I met you a good,
good luck.
10 years later, because you needed those 10 years to kind of mature.
Definitely.